Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm sitting in with Josh and our special guest tonight, Alan Gill from Ultimate Comics and ultimately from NC ComicCon. We're going to be talking NC ComicCon. It is coming up this weekend in Durham, November 9th and 10th. It's going to be a great show, and we're super excited. Thanks for being with us tonight, Alan.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's talk NC Comic Con. Let's talk basically I guess let's start with where people can go to get to NC Comic Con first.
Yeah, just going to the website. It should be fairly up to date right now. It's just nccomiccon.com. Um, that'll get you all your information as far as guests, ticket links, panel schedule, admission times, all that jazz. But we hold NC Comic Con downtown Durham at the Durham Convention Center, right next to the historic Carolina Theater, and we have a couple of movies playing there this year. We kind of block off the road there in front of the Marriott to allow people to kind of walk around safely and mingle. And you know, I really love the venue. Really love the venue. Um, so I'm excited when people come down for the first time, see it and get it, you know, understand why we do it there and why uh that is the spot that I am committed to.
Yeah, I was gonna say we came last year. It was our first time last year, and I appreciated the because sometimes you can get in conventions and you just feel like you're part of a number, but with this convention center and with the openness of the foyer area out by the hotel and the outside area that you have blocked off. It just feels like a really cool hangout spot for the community. And it's just a really cool way to meet people and just to get a full con experience because we saw some really great cosplay last year. I'm sure we'll see some really great cosplay this year. And so, yeah, I love the venue. I think it's a great venue.
It's a fairly unique ambiance and like size, because I did put on Oak City Comic Con, and that was at the Raleigh Convention Center. Um, and while we had better numbers at that show, man, it just did not have the same feel. When I started doing it, I was like, yeah, cool, we have space, but there's it's almost like ha having too much space, and
Yeah.
you're just in another convention center. I already do that. I already go set up at conventions at just the generic big box convention center throughout the year. I wanted to do something different. So, putting on a uh, a convention center show in Raleigh made me appreciate Durham more. It's like, that's
Yeah.
not what I want to do, you know? Where we are is the convention, if for some reason, who knows, in another 5 years, they're talking about building a Raleigh Convention Center, or I'm sorry, a Durham Convention Center. And if that happens, I'll have to make the determination, then is that where I move? I don't know that I would want to do that. I think I want to stay
Yeah.
where I am. And if that's no longer an option, then I'll stop doing the show.
Right.
Yeah, I like the area. I think it's a great area and a nice setup. It's easy to get to. Traffic is not too bad getting in there. When we came up last year, it was easy for us to come in, found a parking garage right across the street, was able to get in and park and get there
Mhm.
real easy.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger ones, and it is like Heroes Con. Parking is insane there. You're gonna walk
Hmm.
for days. We've been to Heroes, we've been to Galaxy. We love the close knit feel of Durham, of this con, the NC Comic Con, because you don't feel
Cool.
like you're walking all day, but you do have a lot of stuff there. You get to meet some really great people, and you get to talk to people. You get to meet the creators and have authentic conversations. Whereas the bigger cons like Heroes, you don't really have time to stop and talk to them. They're so busy.
It is tricky, right? It's a balancing act, because like, some people, I'm sure, would come to NC Comic Con and be disappointed. They'd be like, "Oh, it's not big enough." And I can't even, as far as vendor number, I don't think I even compete with um like Rick and Dave's show. I think they probably have more actual vendors um than I do. So what I try to do is curate the folks that I do have. So I'm trying to pick out, that you're not having too many of one kind of vendor, and you know, not trying to sound elitist, just in my point of view, try to pick the best guys. Again, my preference, right? I'm the one doing the picking. So it's like, man, I like this dealer. I want this person to be here. I like their setup. I like what they're carrying. So, it's a lot of work to do that. And obviously I can't let everyone in. I just don't have the space. And that becomes pretty evident like when you're walking in there. You're like, oh. Um, the other thing I try to do with the guests is try to bring in guests that, and I think I talked about this last year, bring in guests that had not just been at GalaxyCon or HeroesCon, because I go to all the con. I go to all those cons. I set up at
Yeah.
GalaxyCon. I set up at HeroesCon. I love both of those shows. They're both very we are all three very different shows, right? GalaxyCon Raleigh is a very different show than HeroesCon, and NC Comic-Con is a very different show than HeroesCon, right? We're just all very different, very unique feels. And so I try to bring in guests that have not just been at those cons to give folks an opportunity to see those people.
Yeah. And it's nice because last year you had what? Art Adams was there. And I got an Art Adams signed Thor hammer.
Love it. It's so cute.
3D printed. I brought it from a guy at the show and Art signed it for me. Loved it.
Cool. Yeah. Last year was a real special show for me because it was the first show since COVID. So it had been three, a good 3 years since we had done a show, and I had no idea what to expect. No idea that if people were going to show up or support the show.
Right.
So it was like doing a first show again. And I was very happy with the numbers. I was very happy with how many people came out to see Arthur Adams. He was very happy with his turnout at his booth, the response that he got, both personally with the people and obviously at the end of the day, financially, right? That is, I mean, if you're coming out as an artist, a handcrafter, a comic book dealer, a Pokemon seller, whatever it is, while yes, we all share a passion for this stuff, for a lot of us, it is a financial endeavor as well.
Right.
It's got to work. So being a comic book dealer, I always ask that question. I'll get up there and be like, "How did you do?" And if they said fine, then I know I've done something wrong. We did this mini con in August, and that was not as successful as the one in March. March, great. August, this was the first time I had done one in August. And taking a look back after that event, I was just like, oh, I understand why this one didn't do as well, because people were burnt out. You had just got through the summer and there were so many cons and shows and but nah, maybe I can skip that one because unless people are wowed it's not worth my time to do it. Um, so with NC Comic Con here, that's why I try to break out all the big guns. Kevin Eastman, bring back Ben Bishop, Tula Lotay, Tommy Lee Edwards, Bernard Chang. Packing the room with what I feel are like pros, top of their game, and just try to really wow people.
Oh yeah, we're excited, and the people you listed, I mean, it's going to be great. This will be my first time meeting Kevin Eastman, so I'm excited for that. Ninja Turtles were a big part of my childhood. Me and Daniel, our third brother, we grew up watching the cartoon, playing with the toys. We got a great story about the original movie. See, Chris was 18 when that came out. We were still little kids. Chris took us to see the original Ninja Turtles. We walk in the theater and sit down. We all got our popcorn and drinks and we're ready. Chris looks at us and goes, "Okay, the first turtle that curses, we're leaving the theater." Well, you know what the very first word that a turtle says in the movie? Raphael
Right, right.
is taken by April, and all you hear him go is, "Damn." We looked at Chris and we were like,
Yeah,
uh, he's like, "We're not going anywhere." We were worried.
yeah, yeah,
We were,
Oh yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Um, it was a cool little moment there. We got to share that moment with Judith Hogue when we were at GalaxyCon to share, and she knew exactly what we were talking about. So it was cool to meet her. But I'm going down the list here and looking at all of these great people you've got coming in. Like you said, Tommy Lee Edwards, Tula Lotay, Matthew Klein is coming, Bob Burden. Who else we got? J.L. Westover. Brockton McKinney, as always, he's great as well.
Hmm.
Um, Danny will be there. Chris Wharton, Alyssa Wong, one of my favorites. I love Alyssa. Frederick Jones, and one of our favorite people from Keen Spot, Rob Potchak's can be there too. He's a super cool guy. We love hanging out with him
Oh yeah,
as
Rob's great.
well. Yeah,
One of the folks that we added to kind of later in the game was this Todd Langdon. He is the screenwriter for the original Turtles movie, which is cool.
that's
Um,
pretty awesome.
awesome.
so he's going to be there. Carolina Theater is doing a showing of the original Turtles movie at 4:30, and he's going to be doing an intro for that. Um, before the
Nice.
movie starts, which is cool. Um, and then one of my favorites is Bob Burden. Most people don't know who the hell Flaming Carrot is, but
I know Flaming Carrot.
Flame, Flaming Carrot was like, man, in the 80s when I was really reading comics and really into it. That was the first black and white comic that I picked up and the first kind of indie alternative title that I picked up. And there is something about that wacko that just really resonated with me. And I was hooked. I was hooked. And Bob Burden and Flaming Carrot, they had a couple crossovers with the Turtles, so I figured it was a good year to bring Bob back. And it's also the 20th anniversary, 20th, 40th. I don't know. Time flies. Anyway, it is some kind of anniversary for Mystery Men, which the movie with Ben Stiller
Yes.
that
Yeah,
that's Bob's creation. He created Mystery Men. So
Mystery Man. Okay, yeah,
we're gonna play that at the movie theater, and he's gonna do an intro for that too.
That's cool.
nice.
Now I'm
Yeah.
going through the list of creators here, and I see one that just sticks out to me. Cliff Bleszinski, Mr. X
Yes.
Games, Gears of War. He is going to. He actually has a comic he's put out
Mm-hmm.
that I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in seeing.
That's a Scrapper, right? Is it
Yes,
Scrapper?
yes,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So just so you know, I just found out that Cliff is going to be Sunday only. He can't make it on Saturday, but he'll be there on Sunday.
awesome.
Awesome.
Chris, it kind of makes me want to go get a copy of Gears of War from GameStop just to get him to sign it.
Yeah.
Even
Hey,
though I don't own
hey,
an Xbox.
Oh,
hey,
and he
they're probably a dime a dozen there at GameStop. So
he's one of the creators too that does not charge for any signatures. So you can just walk up to him, he doesn't charge anything. So
That's awesome.
nice, nice,
yeah.
nice. And yeah, let's mention that because last year I know you had a lot of creators there that their first signature they were doing absolutely free. Now I know that Eastman's going to be a little bit for his, and that's to be expected with him. He is a great guy. But that's another great thing about the show. If you've got something you want to get signed, these people will sign it for you. Um,
Mhm.
if not free for a really, really great price. So
Yeah, yeah. And Eastman, his signatures, I think it's $20. But if you decide to you want a little bit more, he does the signature with like a remark, like a little head sketch for $50 total.
Yeah.
So, you know,
nice,
go
nice.
in there, go get your hardcover Last Ronin with a little head sketch on it and get it signed is real cool.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I have heard stories. Sorry, Chris. I've heard stories about Eastman showing up and he travels, and every now and then when he's at a con, somebody else will pop up and come in unscheduled and sit with him. I'm wondering if
Mm-hmm.
we might get a pop up from Laird because he's done that recently.
Mm-hmm. My gut says no.
Yeah,
I've heard, I mean, he's quite a bit older, and health-wise, I'm not sure that he would make that trip,
Yeah.
but it is possible, right? I can't make any claims or guarantees there.
right. It
It'd be
would
real
just
cool.
be really cool to see both of them together.
It'd
I
be
know
real cool,
a
but yeah.
couple of years ago when they were doing the Toys That Made Me show, and
Hmm.
they reunited those two on the show. It was really cool to see them back together and drawing and talking.
Oh, yeah, and kind of, yeah, and it's been since then that it seems like, that they've started showing up together more. So yeah, that is real cool.
Yeah.
So we talked about the show. We talked about the guests that are coming. We talked about the movies that are going to be going on at the Carolina Theater. Let's talk a little bit about cosplay. Is there going to be a cosplay contest
Yep.
or
Yep.
all
There's
right?
a cosplay contest both days. I think the Craftsman contest is Saturday, and then like the general, the big one is Sunday, probably around 5 o'clock. That should be on the website there. Cosplay is not my specialty whatsoever,
Okay.
but it is my partner Brittany. She is the one who is um, you know, learning the ropes. Last year was her first year. She did great. She has been much more involved this year. My plan is to, you know, give her more and more of the responsibility. But she is also a cosplayer. We got this awesome billboard in Durham that with the turtles on it. It's right outside of the Ultimate Comics over there on 15501 in Durham. I was like, man, let's spring for a billboard this year, and we did. So NC Comic Con is a billboard, and it's got the turtles, and Brittany is a April O'Neil up there. So real fun.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I see a lot of great cosplayers are going to be there on the list. We've got Sulky Siren, Grace will be
Hmm.
there. Frankly Built. Is it Gibson cosplay? It looks
Hmm.
like GIBCEN.
Hmm.
Little Moon and NC Spidey on the
Yep.
list. I'm going down my list here. Alan, I also want to mention something that a lot of people are hot into right now: the anime, the manga.
Hmm.
Because you've got Saturday AM there again this year, right?
Yep. Yep.
Those guys, and they had some really cool books. I hopefully this weekend can pick up one or two of those to read. Find some that are good, kid friendly. I can throw in my classroom because the sixth grade
Hmm.
have been pulling graphic novels off my shelf like crazy. They really enjoy them.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
But yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I looked at their stuff last year, and I actually got a a print from them with all the characters on it that I've got to get framed to go up on my wall here in the office.
Oh yes, since last year and meeting Frederick Jones, um him and I have definitely become fast friends because he's local, and there are some big things coming for Saturday AM. They've got some big deals happening, so it should be real exciting to see, and it's cool to be involved and follow something when you're kind of like on the ground floor, right, and watch it grow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I like I said, I was reading comics I was reading comics in the 70s, but in the early 80s, and I definitely remember like hearing about turtles then, even though I didn't jump on that, just watching that kind of happen, while I'm sitting there reading my Batman and Superman books and Spider-Man, and you see this turtle stuff happening in the you know on in the comic book stores at the time, and you're just kind of wondering what the heck is that? But then you're watching it happen, and kind of explode into, this. I mean, it's 2024, and turtles are as big as ever. It's crazy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they keep reinventing themselves, right?
Yeah.
For a new audience, I saw that the uh the animated movie that they did, what was that, last year or the year before?
Yes.
And I thought it was great.
It
I thought
was.
it was so fun. It
Yeah,
was
it
so
was an
fun
amazing
to
movie. I thought it was beautifully done. The animation was beautiful. The story was great. Um,
hmm
and it's a great Turtles movie. I loved it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
as a matter of fact, let me lean right back here. I just picked these up at Ross last night. All
Oh,
four of
they're
The turtle top.
adorable.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna bring them and get Kevin to sign those. So,
Oh, man.
so
I mean, I'm gonna track those down. I'm getting those
yeah.
pictures.
Oh, they're
You know
I
what's funny?
set up here on my shelf as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I found them at Ross of all places. So I mean, I was like, yes, I need those for sure.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, they're
so
super cute.
so another thing that goes along with Comic Cons, and I know you wouldn't be NC Comic Con without having them panels. What kind of I'm looking at the panel schedule. Got a lot of different panels. Any you want to kind of highlight tonight and
Well,
tell
I
people about?
mean, we purposely pulled back our panel schedule. If you went last year, you're like, oh, I thought there were more. We decided that for a convention of our size, where you're getting like 3 to 4,000 folks, that I want to make sure that every panel is well attended. And I and
Yeah,
and last year I saw that, hey man, you're kind of competing there against yourself on a lot of those. So this is the first year where we've pulled back the panels. I don't think there's any panel in the Armory on Saturday. We are saving the Armory, which has the most seating um, for the costume contest, obviously, for Kevin Eastman panel, obviously, that's going to be one that, hey man, we're going to need the seating, but we wanted to kind of bring it back a little bit and just focus on the hits, right? We just
yeah,
want to have a real strong panel schedule, because the more I find, the more people that are in there, the more interactive it becomes. It kind of builds like a more of an excitement. If you go into a panel room and there's five guys sitting in there, man, it's almost like subconsciously, as you're watching the panel, you feel bad that you're like, man, I wish more folks would come out and support the panel. But I think for us, bringing it back some to try to make each panel a success and well attended, so that we can build so a little more excitement in the room. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Kevin Eastman's doing one panel, and that's on Sunday. So that's at the Armory, and I feel like that's a bit of information that I don't want to slip under the radar. That hey man, if you're only thinking, oh, I only want to come out on Saturday, then you're gonna miss something. You're gonna miss something big, and that's that Sunday panel with Eastman. You don't want to miss that.
Yep.
Yeah,
2
I'm looking right now. Looks like
o'clock
that's at
at the
2 o'clock.
Armory. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've got the
Yeah.
list here, and I appreciate that you're running it that way, because when you go to some of these shows, there's so many panels that you want to get to that you can't always make it to. And so here you've got a schedule where things aren't running into each other. So if you wanted to go to multiple panels, you could make both because they're not concurrently running at the same time.
And I think for a show our size, I think, I don't know. We'll find out this weekend if that was the right move. You know, I am after 10, 11 years, I'm still making this up as I go along. There's no master plan here. I'm not some
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We understand after putting on our first show in August, it's a labor of love and it takes a lot of time to put one together.
It is, and so you guys did it.
Yes.
Were you bitten by the bug now? Or you're like, as soon as you got done, did you say, man, we're gonna do it again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've
Yeah.
already started talking about it, so
Yep.
we're ready to do it again.
Awesome. Cool.
So,
Yeah.
so.
Welcome to the club.
Yes. It's
Thank
a
you.
lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I know we talked about it that when it was done that day, I'm like, okay, a week with no talk about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm ready. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because we were physically
You-
exhausted when we got done.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I
you
get it.
start, your brain automatically goes, and what can we do next year different or better, or
Hmm.
what changes can we make? So, you know, so yeah, it's worth it though to see the people come in and be happy and enjoy what you've done.
Man, that
So
is it. I think, I was talking about the financial side of it earlier, and that is important, right? You can't do it year after year and not
Yeah.
at least generate revenue to put back in it to make it grow. But man, it really is you get this high off of throwing a good party, right? That's what it
yeah,
feels like. It feels like hey man, I threw a rager and everyone had a blast. Well, I got to do that again. You can't just say, "Man, that was fantastic," and then never do it again. Who
yeah,
thinks like that?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
I mean, we are definitely smaller time than NC ComicCon. We did not get an official count, but from everybody's word of mouth, they said between 500 and 600 people came through the door for our con.
Oh, man, that is probably more than I had at my first con. My first con was in the Morrisville Outlet Mall. It was I went in cheap, $5 tickets, and maybe three, 400 people. And I thought that was a success. I was like, man, let's do it. We're in it, right? It was it was real fun. So yeah, I know exactly how you feel. And man, before you know it, you know, uh, 5, 6 years are gonna go by, and you're gonna be like, wow, man, there was 2,000 people. It just happens. It's that I think it's the best way to run a show. You go in small and you let your audience grow with you. Just like we were talking about
Yeah,
Turtles, right? The first issue came out. They printed what, like 500 copies, 1,000 copies, whatever it was. And and if you were in, you got to be there and grow with it. I think doing a convention is the same. Unless you're some multimillionaire that can just from day one come in and put on $1 million show, man, there's nothing wrong with starting small. It's what I did, and just let it grow
Yep.
naturally. So,
yeah, yeah,
And then speaking of
absolutely.
that, we were talking about prices and things like that. Um, I'm looking at the ticket page right now, And I've seen ticket prices for a lot of shows. For a 2 day pass to NC Comic Con, according to this, $39.99 for a 2 day pass, plus fees, of course,
Mhm.
and sales tax. So that's $20 a day. That's
Yep.
a great investment. You know,
I I feel like, especially now, man, with everything being so expensive and everything going up, it's just like at the end of the day, this is a fun thing. Um, and I run it tight to be able to do that, just like and I also fight. I fight with the convention center. I'm like, come on, guys. I need a better deal than this because I'll tell you why. Because I want for people to be able to come in, like if they came in on a Sunday, it's a $25 ticket, always the kids 11 and under for free. Um, and like just really have to keep that price point down. I want more people coming to downtown Durham. I want more people hanging out, spending money with not only the my vendors in the room, but the businesses around Durham, you know. Um, we're a small show, so we don't get the hotel nights. There's not a whole lot of people coming from out of town and staying in hotels. And for a bigger convention like in Raleigh, that's what allows bigger shows to rent um, the convention center for less money is that they're offering guarantees on those hotel nights. So the city's making
Yeah.
money from that. Um, you know, we're just not at that level, never will be. The only exception were the times Gerard Way showed up, and then we filled up every hotel, every
Yeah.
hotel room. I mean, for miles. That was that's a whole nother story. That was a severe miscalculation on my part.
that's a good
Not
thing to have, though.
not
Yeah.
not I don't know. Not knowing who Gerard Way really was in that first year, man. Yeah, my buddy Cliff, um, he had filmed NC Comic Con that year when it was happening, and we actually made a NC Comic Con movie, and you know, some of the scenes in there, those are real. That's me pulling my hair out. Like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do with all these people? And the Gerard Way signing line and trying to figure out, that was the first year we had a big signing, understanding at that point that it becomes a math problem. And I'm not good at math. But, a couple hours in, I start saying, wait a minute. If Gerard Way is taking 3 to 5 minutes with each of his fans, we're only going to get through, a quarter of this line. What are we going to do with all those kids? And that was the problem. That was me learning on the job and you know, not delivering, right? Not delivering. And that is a bitter pill to swallow. One I'll
Yeah.
probably never forget that feeling of knowing that you're disappointing people. Uh, don't want that to ever happen again.
Well, I will say that last year, I thought the line and the way the queue was done for Arthur Adams was done really well, and the time spent in the line because we did wait did not feel like we were waiting all day to get to him. So I think it was handled very well, and he was
Oh,
great the way he handled everybody. So
yeah, he was a prince. I think having him as our key guest for the first year, for one, personally, I was very excited. I'm a huge Arthur Adams fan, um, so that was real cool for me. Kevin Eastman is a bit of a different animal. That's a different that's a
yeah.
not taking anything away from Arthur Adams, but that's just a couple levels up. Uh, and so Brittany and I were over at the convention center today, walking that hall, figuring out the line, figuring out a backup plan for the line and the logistics because in it you can't because I've tried it before, you can't make that shit up day of, right? You have to have a plan.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And that's, I mean,
All right, Josh.
we were talking about the impact of the Turtles. Turtles has been the number one toy line since it first came out. It's bigger than Star Wars.
crazy.
It's bigger than any of the superhero figures. Ninja Turtles is the number one selling toy line of all time.
It, it's crazy. And that is, and again, when you think about the social impact of the turtles, that's that's when I say Kevin Eastman's on another level. And I think in a lot of ways, I was talking to Kevin Eastman's wife uh, a couple weeks ago. We kind of had a call, and I think even it's just now clicking to Kevin Eastman that what a big deal he is, right? He is a big deal. It is just turtles are everywhere. They are bigger than
Yeah,
ever. The we talked about the movie. I mean, Last Ronin. Are you kidding me, man? That book has sold, I think they said over 1 million copies of a hardcover. That hardcover has sold over 1 million copies, and like we at Ultimate, we order that by the case when we order it, and we're still
yeah,
ordering it. I've got a case of Last Ronin in my car right now in the front seat that has nothing to do with the convention at all. That is just going to the store. It's the mall stores, you know, monthly restock of Last Ronin, um, constantly sells. They're talking
nice.
about video game with that. I don't know if that's going to happen. Video game things uh, get talked about and then die. They've been talking about a movie with that, but I can see both of those things happening and being hugely successful.
Yep. Oh, I'm super excited for him to do a live action film of that. That'll be amazing. We even talked when we were at GalaxyCon with Judith Hogue about, hey, you need to come back and play old April from the last hurry.
Hmm.
Let's do that.
That'd
You
be
know,
great. I
yes.
mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
they
that
don't,
would be great.
if they don't, that's a huge missed opportunity there.
Yes.
You know.
Most definitely. Most definitely. We are excited for NC Comic Con this year. I know it's going to be a great show. It always is. You were talking about, the line for Eastman. The nice thing about the line, yes, we'll get in there to get our signatures because I got to have something signed by Kevin Eastman. $20 is a gift to get his signature. Um, I paid double that to get Rachel Jacobs, the original voice of April O'Neil. So to have a
Oh,
creator signed book, yeah, that'll be amazing to have.
and and also, just so folks know, there's no if you wanted that CGC witness, there's no additional fees or anything like that. It's just like, man, you can get that CGC witness there for your signature. It's still $20. So
Nice.
Nice,
yeah.
nice,
With the other
nice.
guests you have, like last year, yes, we waited for Art Adams, but while we're waiting, let's go see Robert Vendetti and talk to him, talk to Brockton McKinney, talk to Christos Gage, all those guys. Just great, to enjoy that time. Okay, so
Oh,
so
and
it's a little busy, but there's a lot of
Christos is the
great guys.
best too.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of great guys you can talk.
Love Christos.
Yeah.
I saw. So we talked to guests, we talked panels. Let's talk for a few minutes about vendors. I'm pretty sure a little comic shop called Ultimate will be there with some comics
Yeah.
that you
Oh,
can pick up there, and
Just a
Ultimate will be
small little
there.
shop. Small little
It would
shop of
uh,
comics.
it
a
would be
fledgling growing comic shop.
it would actually be easier for me if I didn't set up and that's just one more layer to add on top of it. Uh Yes, we're set up. Jason Hamlin is set up. Black Dog Collectibles. I'm real lucky that I have got this crew of guys. Again, not saying anything bad about any local show, but I've got this crew who come down from up north in the East Coast to come to the show. So it's not the exact same dealers that you see on the show circuit, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a show in North Carolina every weekend, you
Yes.
know, and again, you want to make it a little fresh for people. So the fact that I've developed these guys who travel out of state to come here, I think it's important for the dealer room, right? Because if you go to a show every weekend, you're seeing the exact same guys, man, at that point it's you're not gonna have anything to buy.
Yeah, yeah. You're not going to be digging at all because you've dug their stuff already. You know
You
what's in
dug
there.
it.
So,
Right, yeah, man. So those guys are super important to my show, and it's real cool that they take the time to travel down and set up. But yeah, a bu bunch of new vendors too, bunch of new vendors, um, and yeah, yeah. I'm always I go shopping every show. I end up okay. Well, let me go hit that dealer room, and especially if I have a good show, I funnel. If the ticket sales up front are good, I'm spending money in in the vendor room. You know, uh, the, I feel a little bit more free with the cash there to keep the economy of the room flowing, right? I want to make it worthwhile for all the vendors who came down to set up.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That
It's
makes
fun.
sense.
That's what our show we did our show because it was our first show. We did it for free because we wanted our vendors to have a successful show. And they all did. They all said they had a great show. So that's
I,
always
yeah, free. Free's nice.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, ours was a small first time show. We brought in a few people. We made enough
Mhm.
money from selling tables that we were able to put a few people up in a hotel room for the night, and we were able to
Yeah.
do that and cover that, um, which was nice. I mean, we didn't go in broke setting up our first show, so that's
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and we
Yep.
got to the good. So that's our hope is we get a bigger guest for the next show. We bring in more
Mhm.
people, bring our vendors back and have another good successful show.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just like I said before, incrementally, trying to make
Yes.
each one just a little bit bigger, a little bit better than the last, and you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're
Awesome.
for NC ComicCon.
All right. So let's talk about as we kind of get towards the end of this, let's talk about times, what times the shows are on Saturday and Sunday when people can be there.
Yep.
And
Saturday is 10 to 6.
okay,
Sunday is 10 to 5.
okay.
Probably start ticket sales at the door if you decide, hey man, I just want to do it the old school way and stand in line. You are welcome to do that. Um, both that way, and if you ran by one of the Ultimate Comic shops, you can get your tickets without the service fee, without the Eventbrite fee. Um, Save a couple bucks, right? Um, but yeah, we'll start selling tickets probably an hour, hour and a half before those times.
Thanks. And if I remember right from last year, you will go over to the Armory to pick up your tickets.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Armory right across the street. We handle all the crowd stuff over there, and then let you go into the show over at the convention center. So,
right.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
Alan, you mentioned that Last Ronin sells like crazy, right? Um,
yes.
are you seeing a uptick? I want to bring up one of the big comics right now, the Absolute DC Comics. Are you seeing a pretty good
Oh,
sales point on those?
man. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother show. I could talk to you Ultimate Comics stuff for another hour, easy. Um, but uh, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of growth happening. I think it started what last year, year before last, when Ultimate Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, I think it's been a year since we got Ultimate Spider-Man. So
yep, Marvel gave DC the template of how to make it work, and DC ran with that. And I mean, I'm very excited about Absolute Superman coming out this week. I'm a Superman guy. I really dug Absolute Batman. I really dug Absolute Wonder Woman. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. I think that they have put some big teams on those books, and so that helps. Obviously, Ultimate Spider-Man, you had Hickman writing
yeah,
Spider-Man, which man, I love it. I love it. And you know, DC has put heavy hitters on theirs too, Scott Snyder, Kelly Thompson, Jason Aaron doing Superman. It's just like,
yeah.
okay, all right, sign me up. I'm excited. And then back in the regular DC universe with the all-in stuff, again, they have I think they are giving they're listening to the fans finally. It's just like they're giving us what we've asked for a long
Yeah. I
time.
was gonna say don't sleep on Detective because I just read Tom Taylor's first book this week in Detective and wow. I mean
I
it's
haven't read it
beautiful
yet,
book.
but that issue sold out, I think. I think they're doing a second print on that. Um,
They're already gonna do a second, yeah.
exciting. Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I'm with you
Uh,
on it, man. I feel like we're finally getting some fresh takes and they're really refreshing the line everywhere. And I think that's going to help bring in a lot of new readers and bring
I
back
mean,
a lot of people who had left.
especially DC,
Yeah.
right? Especially DC.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
people have been hating on DC movies for a while now, um, and the comics. But man, I see what's coming out from DC, and then we just plugged in the orders for Justice League Unlimited, right? Justice League
Unlimited. Yeah.
Unlimited. Man, that book's going to be a monster, and it starts the story, the Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Hush 2 starts in there.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah.
prelude that's not going to be included in the comic. So anyway, uh, and that's a whole nother thing, right? You got Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee doing Hush 2. Man, DC is going to have a killer next 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have figured out. I was not happy when they canceled Justice League and they did the whole death of Justice League, but I think they were smart because they gave you a long enough break that people are like, "Where is my Justice League? Bring it back." And now
Hmm.
they're going to reap the results of that. People are excited to see it.
Yep. Yep. I think so.
I
But
think
man,
what I'm most excited about is the fact that I feel like there's a crisis coming, and this time, instead of the Flash solving the crisis like he does every time, I think it's going to be Booster Gold this time, based off of what I'm reading. So,
hmm
yeah, yeah, which will be pretty interesting because it seems like the Flash always has to solve the crises every time we have one.
very underutilized character. And I think with what James Gunn probably has planned with that character, it would make a lot of sense for them to do something big with
Mhm.
Booster Gold.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you mentioned James Gunn because I feel like he's bringing a lot of underused characters to light, and they're seeing more not just in the shows but also in print as well. You're getting to see those characters come back.
I think anyone who could make me hate a character as much as James Gunn did in Suicide Squad 2 with Peacemaker,
Yep.
and then follow it up immediately with a show about that character and make me love him. Man, you are a fantastic writer,
Yeah.
and I trust you with what you're planning here for DC. And you brought back the DC Bullet, man. Love them, love them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Bullet is beautiful. The Bullet is so great.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, a great homage. A great
Yeah,
Had to
homage.
yeah,
create an homage to it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
So good.
So
awesome. So we are. You want to close us out, Josh? Kind of.
so we are looking forward to NC Comic Con Saturday and Sunday. Okay. 10 to 6 on Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday.
Yep.
Tickets are available still, weekend and single day passes. If you don't want to pay the Eventbrite fees, go buy Ultimate Comics to get your tickets. If you wait till the day of the show, you can get them at the Armory, pick them up there. Come on in, enjoy the show, meet some great people. Heck, come out and watch the original Ninja Turtles on screen. When do you get a chance to see that? We're gonna have to go to that movie, Chris, on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. But the first turtle that curses, we're leaving.
and Daniel is supposed to be with us. We've got to go. We got to recreate
Yeah,
that movie again. It's too
absolutely.
in the theater. We're excited. We're really excited. We're enjoying the show. We enjoyed it last year. We're going to enjoy it this year. If you don't have plans this weekend and you're not going to Durham, make plans to go to Durham and go to NC ComicCon, guys. Come out, check it out. For $40, you can get in for a weekend's worth of entertainment, do some great shopping, pick up some early Christmas gifts, guys. Hit them up, get those nerds things for Christmas.
Yes.
It's after Halloween, so it's not early Christmas anymore. It's basically Christmas Eve now.
But you can start.
Yeah, Mariah Carey up froze.
Yeah, we won't talk about her. Yes. Come on out, see the show, come meet Alan, meet Kevin Eastman, meet some great writers and creators. Heck, come talk to Rob Potcheck at Keen Spot. He's got a great new comic coming out you're going to want to hear about. So come see him, come see everybody that's going to be there, and just have a great time. Who knows? Maybe we might
come see. Come see us. We'll be there too. We might even put you in a YouTube video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you could hop on YouTube with us. Be there.
Awesome.
Okay. So have a good night, guys.